Hello everyone, what's good? And welcome back to my channel where I'm going to attempt to knit things that are way out of my league and you can all watch me struggle. So for those of you who are new here to my channel, I am actually more of a crocheter and knitting is something that I'm not so great at. I have about 3 other projects that I'm working on right now, so picking up this knitting project is probably the last thing that I should be doing, but I've been dying to pick up this yarn for probably like a month or 2 now. So yeah, here we go. I'm going to try to knit with this fancy schmancy yarn today. This is the Universal Yarn Bamboo Bloom, and this is the colorway Kimono. It just has like a roving style type of yarn. I'm just gonna try to wing it, kind of based off of that knit crop top that I put out months back as well, because I really have no clue what I'm doing. My goal is to pull some of the similar techniques that I used in that previous crop top knitting tutorial that I had and actually try to make this of more of a one shoulder type of top. So let's just see how it goes. I'm just gonna dive right on into this. And because I'm going to be knitting in the round for at least the first half of the top, I believe I've grabbed a 16-inch circular knitting needle. And for this top, because I've got those thick wool sections, I'm going to be using 6mm knitting needles. So let's just pop these bad boys on. All right, and there's my second one. All right, so now my next step is to cast on my stitches onto my knitting needles, and kind of just based on the gauge that they have listed on that little piece of paper that comes on the yarn, I think I'm going to cast on like 102 stitches, but I'm just gonna start off with my slip knot. You know me, just winging things here on my channel. Oh, I think I'm getting it, maybe not. I believe I've casted on all my stitches. I know it looks freaking crazy with this yarn, and just making sure that my thing is like not all twisted up, because I know that will jack up my work. And now I'm gonna start just kind of working like a ribbed pattern. So I'm gonna knit 1, purl 1, just for like a handful of rows. And a little trick that I was taught with the fatter part of the yarn is when you get to these thick wool sections, you actually want to wrap it twice around your hook. And then when you come around on that stitch on the next round, you're just gonna pull off that second loop. I hope that you guys know what I'm talking about. For my knitters out there, you probably know this as like a drop stitch or something like that, like an elongated stitch. So like I said, when you wrap your yarn twice around the hook, it's kind of gonna look like you've got 2 stitches here. But remember, like I said, when I come around for that next round, I'm actually going to knit into that first stitch and then just pull the second stitch off of the hook. And hopefully these wool sections will knit up a little bit looser instead of being so tight and stiff. I haven't picked up any knitting needles since I made that crop top tutorial, and that was like January, I think. So I'm doing pretty darn well so far. Jinxing myself, aren't I? So last night Jordan and I went out skating and I was trying to do some spins and I ate shit really bad. And when I fell, of course, I put my hands out to stop myself and I ended up like spraining my thumb. It hurts so bad. So yeah, it's just pretty ironic that I pick up this knitting project to take a break from crocheting, and now I don't think I could do either. So let's just kind of see how this goes. So far this is looking pretty freaking cool with this yarn. I'm not really executing it the way I would like. I think I ended up using too large of a needle size. I'm using 6mm knitting needles, and I think I probably should have used like a 5, because even though this looks super cute, it's kind of see-through. Okay, so we're hitting another block in the road. As I'm looking at my piece right now, I thought that I did it right, and I'm pretty sure that my work is fucking twisted. I have to start this whole thing over again. Oh my God. So it's been a handful of days since I last popped on here and gave you guys an update. I know it probably looks like I've gotten a lot more work done than I had before. I don't know, for me this is like a ton of work, but my thumb is mostly healed and back to normal, so I'm back to crocheting and knitting again. You guys should see my desk right now. There are so many like different projects just sitting in front of me, but for now I'm just gonna focus on knitting the rest of this top. And to catch you guys up on what I have done so far, I have added 10 rows of the ribbing. So that's the purl slash knit, purl slash knit, back and forth. And then after I did those 10 rows, I changed up and just started doing, I believe they call it like stockinette stitch, where since I'm in the round, I'm literally just doing knit, 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 knit over and over. And so far I have 7 rows of just plain knitting. But these sections with the wool are working up so well. I'm actually pretty impressed myself. It is a little bit difficult to work with the thicker parts of the wool, but you guys see how it goes from like really dainty, perfect stitches to like these fat, chunky, obnoxious pieces. I love it. And now comes the part where I need to separate the front and the back. And I'm just gonna work, I guess it's gonna be the back section right now. The back or the front is all gonna be kind of the same, honestly. All right, so now I can update you guys again. I have the rest of the stitches moved on to that stitch holder. I know it looks crazy because they're all jumbled up. And then on this side of my work, I still have my work attached. My goal for this top is for it to be one shouldered. So on one side of the top, I need to decrease stitches on the edge of my work on every single row, I think. Okay, I've been knitting my hands off, but now I'm gonna show you kind of what those decreases look like. So my marker over here symbolizes that I'm decreasing on every single row. This is gonna be the side that slants the most. But right now I've honestly just been decreasing on every single row for 4 rows. You guys can kind of see how my work is starting to work slant sideways. So this is going to be for the armhole. So again, for this side, I'm going to decrease on every single row to just continue slanting very steep. And then over here on this side, I think I'm just going to start to work straight up, no more decreases. I'm just going to leave the edge of it normal. Hello guys, I'm popping on here one final time to give you guys the update on the top. I know I look absolutely insane, so just kind of ignore that. But I have been working on this knit top on and off, I'd say for like the last 3 weeks. I've just been so swamped, but I'm finally coming up to the final stretch. And I know that it looks like I've done a ton to the top. When it comes to measuring, I've honestly just been holding the top up to my body. I haven't even tried it on or measured anything. Like I said earlier, I have been decreasing on this side of the top on every single row. And here in the last few inches, I decided to kind of taper that decrease so it wasn't as steep. And I've actually been decreasing my stitches on every other row. And now that I just have 1 or so inch left to the top part of the strap, I'm not decreasing anymore. I'm just working straight up. And over here on this side where I have the strap, I have just been working straight up without any decreases since pretty much my nipple area. So it's pretty basic. I know if you guys are pretty good at knitting, you'll have an idea of how I've done this. But like I mentioned earlier, I've just been winging it for the entire top, and I think it's coming out super cute so far. I already know that I'm going to be remaking this top again with this crazy yarn, but when I do it the second time around, I think I'm actually going to bring this part of the top a little bit higher. That way when I start my decrease, it covers a little bit more of my chest, because right now as it is, it's going to be pretty darn revealing. So if you guys choose to make this top for yourself, try to give yourself enough coverage under your armpit before you start your decrease rows. And then all that I have left to do after that is to connect the two panels here together at this top seam, and I can go ahead and try on this bad boy. So let's just go ahead, finish this up, and I can show you guys the final result.